My name is Will Powell, and I'm a former professional football player turned world traveler and entrepreneur. All of us are called to be great. Maybe we just need a little inspiration or direction, but most importantly, we need the willpower to follow through so we can stop dreaming and start doing. Hey guys, today's guest is Amy Miller, and she is the Yogi of yogis in the Midwest. She's intense, she's in your face. We had a wide-ranging conversation today. We talked about surrendering your mind, surrendering your body when you're in yoga, and how yoga can benefit your life in many other aspects. And Amy's story is incredible about how she has quit everything in her life but has made her stronger to get to where she is today. So again, I'm very excited to introduce Amy Miller. You're gonna love the show. Hey guys, we have another episode of Will Power. I'm your host, Will Powell, and we have Amy here on the show today. Amy Miller, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
She is the Yogi of yogis. I just got done with her class. At her studio on Louise there. Yeah. It kicked my butt. It honestly might have been one of the hardest workouts of my life.
Oh, don't let him fool you. You rocked it. You did a great job.
It's so embarrassing when there's a room of 20 girls. I was the only guy. And they're all rocking it. They're killing it. They're doing their shoulder press and their bicep curls, and I can't get them up. I got to stop and watch.
Well, so a lot of times guys will come from the gym first. So they're always like, I did bench press before I came. And they're like, you'll learn. You do that on another day.
I worked out this morning. I did biceps and triceps. So that was an issue, even holding my plank. Yeah. It was the up down, is that right? Or
down dog. We didn't do a whole lot of up dog. Yes.
Yes. Down dog.
Yeah.
So
you can demonstrate at the end.
At the end we can demonstrate. But not to mention, how hot is it in there?
Tonight it was 97 degrees.
97 degrees for hot yoga sculpt.
Yes.
Now, it was pretty much just a straight workout for 45 minutes in this heat. Now, talk about the goal of sculpt. Why are we doing those type of movements? Okay,
so I'm gonna try not to get too deep in why we're doing all that kind of stuff, but a brief explanation is Vinyasa, which I was telling you, stands for flow with breath. So every posture or pose or movement has a breath. So ultimately you're teaching people how to move and breathe, which seems almost too simple or come on, but how it relates to life is we just got to move forward and breathe, so can people's relationships become better? Can they recover quicker? Can they perform better if they know how to move and breathe versus everything all power, no breath, or hold my breath, or grit my teeth, or the anxiety part of performance or just life. Yeah. So blood flow creates healing. So you're just trying to keep the breath. You're trying to keep healing going throughout, the movement and the flow and the workout. And then just how powerful our breath can be. Yeah.
And that's the point of Vinyasa, right?
Yes.
So Vinyasa is more of the slow stretching. I prefer Vinyasa.
Yes.
Obviously the stresses of the daily life, stresses of business, to get into Vinyasa, to get in that flow is what I love to supplement what I do in the gym, more or less. But
I think you hit it. It's a great supplement to the grind.
And touch on that. I mean, how can the Vinyasa, the flow, the stretching, the breathing, how can that affect people's lives, or how have you seen that affect people's lives?
Just whether you from athletes to people that sit at a desk all day, sometimes the bodies can look very similar as far as the lack of range of motion. So whether maybe you're more inactive all day and you sit at a desk, or you're really active, the tightness of the hips and the chest can kind of be the same, whether you're bench pressing or sitting at a computer all day. So just really getting people all in one environment where you can create this flow and it kind of works for everybody. And you give obviously modifications throughout class. So everyone's always like, oh, I'm not flexible, I can't do yoga. And we always say, you don't have to be. Flow, come and breathe, and we'll show you modifications as we go. So it's just really just opening up the heart. A lot of times we say the chest, the hips, the quads, the hamstrings, and then learning, kind of like when you're uncomfortable, how to breathe.
Yeah.
And I just think that's just life.
It's life.
You know, I feel like I'm so uncomfortable every day, especially in the fitness industry. Like you want to come across like you're strong and like dominant. Like I can fake it for like an hour, but man, we're all like trying to do this life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we're all just trying to breathe and move the best we can and stay open. You know, because I always feel like sometimes I'll say in class, you know, lead with your heart. That's hard because you become more vulnerable. Gosh, people are gonna really see me for who I am.
Yeah.
Or you know, going after your dreams or desires. I feel like it takes more heart than anything. You know.
Totally.
So in the flow of yoga, just learning to lead with the heart, breathe, and just be okay to be vulnerable and not. I don't have everything figured out, and it's all right.
Well, and I think that vulnerability piece is so huge, and I mean, I can't even underestimate my vulnerability tonight going in there again with this massive group of women.
And your athletic background.
Yeah, and my athletic background. You know, I
Yes.
played college football, I played pro football, and to come in here and I'm super tight as it is, so I'm at a disadvantage there. You know, but you're doing curls, you're doing shoulder press, and I literally have to stop while I'm watching these women just kick ass. Like, not to mention Amy is just a beast in there. Like, you don't get tired, it seems like.
Oh, I do. But you know what it's like when adrenaline's going and you know you gotta lead. But it's just such a, like, you think of all the elements that take to maybe motivate people or train people, or if you want to lead, or just kind of like, hey, let's figure out how to make this work in one environment where we can all kind of be a team, which and you don't know anybody around you, but how can, like, the mom that's raising a family at home work next to this, you know, football player, and it just works. And that's what makes it so cool. Is like, it doesn't matter what your background or what you've, you know, done or haven't done or whatever. We always just say, like, try to come as you are, and there'll be a spot where everybody can work out of, you know.
So so touch on that. Touch on the community of AMT, of Amy Miller, and you know, all these women coming together, and men actually coming together, and that bond of being vulnerable, of being in the room and putting yourself out there. I mean, do you have a lot of people who become friends in this? Do you feel like a big family?
Yes. Well, you know, like, even just being on teams, like, when you suffer together, there's something about that, you know. There's something about, like, grinding together, suffering together. Now, with yoga, we always say, like, okay, you're on your own mat, so just try to really, and this is where I've become really passionate, like, try to worry about just what's going on in your mat. And I've been through a lot through this, you know, 2 years, we're going on our third year, just learning, what does that mean for me? So, like, as I explain it, for me, it doesn't mean this has to be for everybody, but really learning to let go of control, in a sense, you know? Like, so I'm gonna try to understand whatever going on my mat is what I'm in control of. So I have to let go. It doesn't matter what she's doing or he's doing. Like, that's their life. That's her. So it's not, hey, you need to look like me. You need to do this like me, you know, or you're doing it wrong. Just, like, kind of letting all that go. And I like the way men and women can maybe even push each other. I think there's a lot of women that want to be pushed by men. Maybe a lot of women that want to push men too, you know?
I was getting pushed tonight. I was getting pushed tonight.
Yeah, I just think, you know, like, it doesn't have to be segregated, like the guys go to the gym, the girls do this. Like, where does that, you know, form of exercise come where it can all start to mesh together?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and again, for the guys who've never been to a yoga sculpt class, specifically Amy's class, I mean, she was rocking with the house music, with the remixes. That's my music too.
Yeah,
the techno's my music.
It.
So, you know, you hear that jam and it's like you're really rocking. I mean, it's that gym environment, but it's the calmness of being in the studio.
Yeah, so, like, even think about, so for me, the beat of, like, house music, which moves me. It might not move somebody else.
It moves me.
So maybe that's my form of communicating to people, if that's the way they're moved. But now I say, like, okay, with the crazy beats, okay, it's 97 degrees in there. You're dripping with sweat. Maybe you're still sliding over your rental mat. So all these things you can't control. Like, you cannot control the temperature of the room. You cannot control the music. You know, I don't want to stop because no one else is stopping, or maybe everyone else is stopping, but maybe I want to say, I know everyone else is stopping, but I'm going to keep going, you know? So in the midst of all the things that you cannot control, what can you control? I can control my breath, and I control my thoughts, in a sense, you know? So that, like, I want to get into people's minds. And, you know, to me, maybe it, like, makes complete sense. And other people are like, you're crazy. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm kind of like, all right, that's okay. But to me, it, like, makes sense if, in life, if there's going to be moments where you're going to be called to be strong and steady, and everyone else is falling around you, you know? And you're not called to, like, control everybody. Your leadership is called to, like, keep moving forward and bring people with you. And get them to rise up, you know what I mean, and move with you.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you have to be perfect. So, like, man, everyone really close around me knows I have so far to go. I have so many shortcomings, it's not even funny. But the only thing I can offer is I can be an encouragement to somebody, and maybe my strength is, you know, in a sense, the words that I choose to use, sometimes maybe the mindset or the physical, but, like, let's not focus on that. Let's just focus on, like, encouraging each other and keep moving forward. Like, how can we bring the best out of each other? And then just, I'm going to take my eyes off of things, trying to control everything, and only control the things that I can control, you know?
Yeah. Well, and how has, you know, that mentality, well, first off, have you always had that mentality?
No.
So
No.
let's just rewind a little bit. How did you even get into yoga? Why was the reason why it happened?
Okay.
And then what led you to where you're at today?
So here's where you're going to hit a chord with me, because told Will before even the interview, I'm like, I just got to be honest, because I don't know how else to like really deliver anything. If I have anything to like say that would bring any value, it would be the truth. And the reason a lot of times I want to bring guys is because thanks to my brother, and even back it up before that is, you know, I'm going to say my faith, but I do want to give the glory to the Lord, because I used to obviously love to run as well, and that was a way of kind of feeding the competition part that I was lacking maybe after sports or whatever. But it was also a way I was coping with life. You know, if I couldn't cope, I'd run, and then I'd run, and then maybe run till I couldn't feel anymore, and then that I could cope. So, getting kind of deep into it, but just I injured my knee, and the last marathon that I ran, I knew it was going to be the last one.
Marathon. So let's just pause for a second.
Yes.
That was your thing, was
marathon
running.
Yeah, because for marathons, like I liked the mental part. Because you're out there for so long, like you go through so many different mental stuff, and I've always liked pushing the mind beyond, like the physical body. You know what I mean? Like there's more there.
Yeah.
There's so much more, and I like that's what really inspires me. Like I want to dig into that.
Well, and I think when you hit that point, when you get over that comfort zone, that threshold, I think that's when life happens.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's when you take that next step.
But it's so uncomfortable to go
so
there.
Uncomfortable.
And a lot of times, people can say they're gonna get there on their own, but they never do. Like if you really stop and think, like there's been a lot of people around you that either because they've been against you, that's what I'm finding now. Like when it's been more of the attacks towards me or towards a business or towards whatever that make me go to that place, like I've got to dig deeper or I'm gonna crumble.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's powerful stuff. And from the short amount of time that I've known Amy, I mean, she lives and breathes that mentality, that leadership. I mean, in how you carry yourself in the classroom, and you inspire people. You inspired me tonight. Like it was really, really powerful.
But you guys inspire me. So we were just having this conversation. It's, if you think it's that way, so I feel it's so much the other way. So
yeah.
Thank you.
After you lost the ability to run, how did you transition to the yoga piece?
Okay, so I knew it was gonna be my last marathon, and there was just so many crazy things that happened during that race, and I journaled all of them, and I was like, if anybody ever questions me of like why I believe what I do, I'm like, if they ever fill that journal out, like, and really see the truth, I'm like, here, it's all right here. Like, how can I ever deny, you know, what I believe? Because things are really, really revealed to me, you know?
Yeah.
So during the last race, I had a couple miles left too, and the thing that kept going over my mind is, aim, just enjoy the last few miles. Just like keep looking around, like taking the spectators, taking all of it, like what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, the smells, the trees, like experience all of it, because I had about 3 miles left. In 3 miles, you're gonna cross the finish line, you know?
Yeah.
So just live in the moment, you know? So it was really tough, like when I crossed, but I was like, okay, something's coming, I don't know what it is. But my brother was living in the cities and had been doing Bikram for a few years, and I've been traveling back and forth just to do Bikram.
Bikram, which is, what is
Bikram yoga, yeah.
Bikram yoga, yeah.
Yeah, at the time we didn't have it in Sioux Falls, and it annihilated me. So that's kind of like what made me kind of keep coming back. But yeah, he got me into it, and then Jen, her last name was Long at the time, opened Santosha. And she was the first hot yoga studio here in Sioux Falls, so she's definitely a pioneer.
Sure.
And then I just decided it was time to do that for training. But going back to real quick is I was looking and I was praying for a different way to train myself and other people. So I'd always been in the fitness industry, and I was asking the Lord, like, there's got to be something else. Like I'm tired of the, you know, and the grind. Like there's got to be another way to train people. And that's when the yoga things started to kind of come into fruition. So
very cool. And before we get on to what's next, talk about journaling and what journaling has done for your life, and if you continue to do it. Because I journal every single day, and through my times, even in the past year specifically, when I've been very depressed, very down, tons of anxiety, as long as I journal for that 10 minutes in the morning, then my day is made.
You know, I love hearing you say that, because at times I'm like, I wish more people would talk about stuff. And like, there's been so many times in my life that I've felt so like alone. Like, does nobody else deal with anything? Like, and you feel really alone. Like, I've been through parts of like, I am the only one that's this messed up. Like, the thoughts that would go through my head, and the times I would want to give up. And like, my mind always wanted to be really positive, but for some reason I always felt like, due to nobody else's fault, by no means. But I was like, people are thinking different, and they're saying different things, but that's not what's going on in my head. And then at one point in my life, I sold out to that. Sold out to like, they're right, everything sucks, or, you know, I'm not saying that anybody was saying everything sucks, but just like, I started to become, and think differently.
With that negativity or pessimism towards life?
Yes. And it, you know, wasn't journaling or anything like that at that time. But then there was a point in my life where my daughter was born, and she was 2 years old, and I was like, there's something I'm looking for, and I know it's out there. And that's when the search really began, and things started just being presented to me, and people started being presented to me, and I would journal and write things, and kind of that motive of like, if anybody would say I'm crazy, or, you know, and that part of you like that worries about the people pleaser in me, you know, I'm still feeding that a little bit. Like, if anybody wants to question things, or I should have let all that go and just been like, it doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, what do I think? You know, go back to like, this is about like really discovering my own beliefs, thoughts. And I'm not going to sell out to what everybody else thinks I need to be, you know. And I feel like I've always been this kind of robot. And again, I've learned like, that's nobody else. That was just like me deciding I needed to be that, to be accepted, to be what I thought the world needed, you know, me to be, to feel secure, to feel like, because I was insecure, you know, I want to fit in or whatever, but
well, and Amy, just to stop you there, I mean, I think that our personalities are so similar in that I went through the same thing. And I don't know, are you from Sioux Falls?
Brookings.
And I think that can be a factor of growing up in a smaller place too, in South Dakota of all places, but the insecurity of, you're a very passionate person, and so when you're out in public, you just want to be running around talking to everyone. You want to make sure everyone likes you and put on that front, whether you're happy or you're not, and that wears you out quite quickly. And for me personally now, I still find myself where I'm more introverted now than I used to be, just because, I've had that part of my life where I just am all over the place, always talking, always trying to please people. But I feel like with age, you start to learn that you got to do you, and you got to do what's on your heart. And if people don't love you for that, then that's their problem.
Well, that's good. I would agree with you, and trying to understand that that's okay. That's okay that if I need to pull back, because you only have so much, and sometimes, even today I was journaling, and I was like, man, Lord, I'm going to ask for forgiveness, because I've said things today that weren't me, and I've said it purely out of frustration, I'm so frustrated about this that I'm very aware that I'm attacking back, and I don't like that part about myself. So, having to journal that, I know that I'm still a work in progress. So, I have no right to go, and attack back to anybody, because I need grace, and there's parts of me that are just I want you to just know this is how God made me, and just accept me where I'm at right now, and I will do the same for you. Yeah. That there's space to be exactly, for me, again, in my opinion, who God created you to be right now in this space, knowing that you might be a different man in a year from now, and I want to believe that you can change. I want to believe that you can grow. Instead of people people will never change. Oh, really? There's no hope in that. Yeah. Because the muscle can change.
Exactly. So I just felt it tonight.
Yes. What I say to somebody when you come into class, I just want everybody to know, whether you show up, you can show up for the next year, but you're never going to change. No one's ever going to come back.
No one's coming.
And tell that to any great athlete. Tell that to anybody that's, a gal told me today about another gal she knows, or a friend of hers has lost 200 pounds. Do you think that gal hasn't changed? But I guarantee when she was 200 pounds more, there was hopelessness. Oh, yeah. But somebody spoke hope, or she spoke it to herself, that there's hope to change. So I think the spirit, the physical body, the mental, the brain can change. Tell that to somebody that's overcome brain, I don't know, brain injuries. Yeah, what I mean? There is but it's I think it's changing the way we speak to each other, and leaving space for, we can call them miracles, we can call them whatever, but. Yeah. Well, and what is your way of convincing yourself that you can change when things are tough? Because I think it's really easy for people to get in their head that, I'm going to do that, I'm going to go lose 50 pounds, and then the second they got to eat clean, and the second they got to go to the gym, things get hard, and that's the point of the show, willpower, showing discipline. Okay. So talk through that. So Will, here's where I say, I don't have all the answers. Yeah. Obviously you don't know everything, Amy. I have to journal, I have to pray, I have to read, because it's a strength that I have to draw, that I know that's bigger than me. Because I've said to a few people, I feel like I've had the grace of the Lord lifted from me before, and I was like, oh, so that wasn't me. I want to be I got this, figured out. And then for whatever reason, and this is in my own words, it's lifted, and I've been oh my gosh, that was not me. That was not me. That was, for me, the Lord, the Holy Spirit inside of me. So to honor that, but then I have to believe that. So if you email me, besides Amy Miller Training, as I have 2 emails, and the other one is Amy Miller 320, and my favorite verse is Ephesians 3:20, and is, now glory be to God, for He is able to accomplish infinitely more than you can dare to dream or ask. So I've hung onto that from day one, and is like, so, all right, Lord, if you are not a liar, you say that you can accomplish more than I can even dare to dream or ask. But I have to let go of the outcome. So it might not look like I think it's going to look, but he can accomplish more than I can even imagine. Mm-hmm. So, but I get a choice. I get a choice to either believe him for that, or I can say, I don't believe it. The other one just sinks me, and the other one gives me hope.
Right.
Some days I go with this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Some days I cling to this. So I have not perfected it by any means.
And is it self-talk? Is it the prayer that helps you stick to that good perspective?
Yeah.
I mean, because it's easy to sway. I mean,
yeah.
it's the other side is your body. It's the physical part of it. It's the earthly part of it that's trying to hold you down.
Your physical body will wear out. And I notice we are. I have a limit. Mm-hmm. I have a limit, and when my physical body wears out, my mind kind of wants to go with it. Mm. So honoring the body, knowing your limits, and then prayer. I have to listen, to music, positive music.
Same.
I have to be really, really conscious of background music. I have to be really, really conscious of the people I'm around. Mm-hmm. Be really conscious of what I'm saying, And like I told you, even today I've failed. And then I have to get alone time. And I have to honor that, because a little bit that I've learned is when I sacrifice all of that, it's a downward spiral for me. So I have to be very protective of this, and no one else is going to protect this. Mm-hmm. So that becomes scary, because if I don't protect it, nobody will.
Well, I think it's protecting it in its belief. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe that you can do something, no one else is going to believe it.
Exactly. And you train people the way to teach or treat you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
And touch on the alone time. How important is that alone time to your mental health? To staying positive, to staying happy.
Huge.
Because you're such a positive, in your face person. So what role does that play, being alone?
So I would say too, I have 3 or 4 people that I reach out to, and I let them see the rawness of me, all the vulnerability, all the I can't handle this anymore. I want to break things, and this person said this to me today. Can you believe it? I would never say that. But never say never. The next day, I feel like, oh really? Because now I'm asking for forgiveness today. Mm-hmm. So I think what your question was, just really having to, no, maybe I don't even remember your question.
Well, being alone.
Okay, so even today, just I need to be able to, journal. Mm-hmm. I need to be able to write down everything that I'm kind of thinking and feeling. Mm-hmm. And then I surrender it.
Yeah.
All right, and then I'll always say wrong or right. Mm-hmm. This is what's in me, and it's got to come out. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna lay it down. Please help me see things in the light. Please help me see things for the truth of what they are. Mm-hmm. And the hardest part is help me see things for the truth of who I am. That's hard. But the part with you and your job is as soon as I enter into the studio, your game face, but I've also learned it's not fake. It used to be. Mm. But there's a rawness, I don't walk in and I'm not going to give him something fake, but there is don't want to paint picture there's some I'm something bigger than I am, but just it's like like we're going for battle. Like,
yeah.
Like,
if you attend one of Amy's classes, you'll know exactly what she means by that.
But like, I just feel like, like we're troops, but we're all like one line and we're moving together.
You were my fearless leader today. I felt like that. I was like, she is killing it.
No,
I'm just...
and that's why we turn around. I feel like, so like you face the front of the room, sometimes you face the back of the room.
Yeah.
So now like you guys, like we're all leading and we're all doing it together, you know. But there is a place of growth. I do believe that even though I'm like dealing with some stuff today, that I can walk in and be real, but be strong. So like, I'm not being fake, but like my job is to lay it all down and be like, let's be strong together.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I say like, I need them just as much. I need you guys. You know.
Yeah.
Not that anybody needs me, but just like in that hour, we're looking to like get some stuff accomplished. You know.
Well, and a little bit ago you talked about I surrender. You know, that has been a big part of actually, and I can't even remember where I got it from, if it was from church or for something on TV, but just to stop when things are going bad, when, your day isn't going the way, when people aren't acting like they should be to you, to say, God, I surrender.
Yeah.
Whatever you put in my life, whatever you put in front of me, I will overcome, but this is your plan for me.
Yes. And so when you just said like, surrendering your, like, you said plan and surrender the same. So instantly I thought like, surrendering our plan, like surrendering our plan. Like, before I even came here, I'm, just thinking about the studio, and I don't know day to day. Like in one day, things could, and I don't know the day that the Lord might say, this is over, or all right, we did what we did, or he did what he did, got accomplished what he wanted to get accomplished, and we're moving. And then, but wait a second, like this is what I do. This is my no, like nothing is what I do, or it's all has to be surrendered every day. Every day. So today, even I was getting frustrated with some things. I'm like, it's not your plan, Aim. Like, but I have to be a steward. And oh man, that's one thing I want to say too is I've had some partners that have been awesome leaders because there's so many things I can't do. So I thank God that they've walked into my life and they have been able to, like that's what's cool too is like they're behind the scenes. You know what I mean? They're never gonna make it the light of the banging music, and,
right.
But they've led, they've led this.
Well, and that that leadership and that I surrender piece, how much of that is a part of yoga? Surrendering your body, surrendering your mental health. Touch on that.
Well, I'm nobody. I'm gonna interview Will. Man.
I think about this stuff a lot.
You are wise.
Well, that's pretty debatable.
God's got a hold of you, in my opinion. So in the end, when they do Shavasana, so it took me a long time to get through my teacher training to be certified to teach yoga. And I was going through it during a really tough time in my life. And I didn't figure out Shavasana or meditation until the second half of teacher training it took me to get through this.
The second half, so it's 200 hours, right?
Yeah, but it took me longer than most to do it because of some things I was going through, and then I had knee surgery. So, and I'm still trying to figure out meditation and does it line up with my faith, and people are like, oh, you better not do yoga, it's satanic, and I was like, gosh, for whatever reason, I feel like the Lord's leading me in this direction.
People say that it's satanic?
Just, you wouldn't believe the...
That's absurd.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
But you know what? Maybe somebody's had an experience like that. I don't know. So it's just learning to, okay, I've got I've got to figure this thing out for myself, you know?
I mean, is it that, or is it just the church not approving a different way to reach God? Because in essence, I think that's what meditation is.
Yeah, yes. And it's just, you know what? It's the unknown. And I know the scary is unknown, or the unknown is scary. Because I personally want that too. I don't want to dishonor him.
Right.
Even though every day there's something I do that dishonors him. But, you know,
every day.
I know. So I was laying there in meditation, and I was like, I don't do meditation, or I don't sit still. Like, I can't sit still. I got to be doing stuff, and almost taking pride in like busyness is.
Yeah.
My busyness doesn't always get anything done.
I'm with you there.
Doesn't get anything done other than just.
And to me, that's unhealthy. You know,
very.
I mean, social media plays a huge role in that. Just the craziness of our world today. It's I try to avoid that at all costs, because I'm all over the place all day, every day.
Yes.
And that's where I find myself with the most anxiety.
Oh, huge. So we should practice this sometime. But here's what I always say. When the Lord speaks to me pretty clearly, it's just a very, very loud thought. It's a very loud thought. And the ones that have been the most profound, I journal, because it's just very clear, and it's a very loud thought that I have. And there's only one, where sometimes I have like this many thoughts, you know. But I was laying in Shavasana, which is just, sometimes they call it corpse.
Okay.
So you're laying on your back, eyes closed, and you're just working on maybe just breathing, just being, and there's lots of explanation to that, but
sure.
Just stillness. So I knew it was towards the end, because just moments after this thought came, the teacher started dinging some bells, and that means kind of start to wiggle the fingers, start to kind of come back, you know. And the thought was, aim. This peace that you've just experienced is the same one you're chasing after when you're running 20, 25 miles, 26 miles. So how that resonated to me was, I was looking for, and I always talk about like 9/11, and I remember watching the explosion, or just, you know, all the things on the news, and just, do you remember when after the explosion happened, it was just like the dust is kind of settling? Do you remember like you couldn't even, there wasn't any noise? But you're probably too young.
No. I was.
Will, you're too young.
I was in 5th grade.
Oh gosh. So what was so instilled in my mind was like the firefighters walking downtown New York, and they couldn't really see anything. It was just like the dust is still like, it's kind of foggy and it's still settling, but it was so quiet. And so I thought of that, and it was almost like in my physical body, what I was trying to do is run this anxiety, I'm looking for answers. I'm looking for like, who am I? All this fighting and striving, and I'm looking for like a savior, and I don't know where he's at. Like, but I need a savior so bad. And the dust is settling, and all of a sudden it's like peace. So like when I would get done running 20 miles or whatever, it was like I was too weak to deal with anything, and then so everything became okay.
Just a calmness.
Well, everything, not even like this, yeah, kind of.
Well,
but like in a sense, like you could do or say anything to me, and it wouldn't like faze me, because I'm too exhausted to deal with you. I'm too exhausted to deal with this. This became too scary to deal with, so I'm gonna run. I'm not gonna face it. I'm gonna run till exhaustion, and then I'm too exhausted to face it.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to feel it. And that might not resonate with anybody, but it resonated with me, and it does with me. But so to me, I always say maybe that was my drug.
Yeah.
You know, that maybe that I was like, I always hit my arm, like, but, you know, like, and that's not an insult either. But so I'm just saying, like, I'm no better, I'm no worse. I always say, like, we're all humans. Like, we are all like, I don't look down on anybody, and this is only by the grace of God. I don't look down on anybody. I don't look try not to look up to anybody, but kind of do still. But I'm just like, I just want to be an equal.
Yeah.
And I just want everyone else, I just want to be an equal.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that point goes back to my core belief in that we're all connected. I mean, I truly believe that God is our subconscious, that we're all connected. He's the one that's pushing those thoughts into your head, that he's the person that's making us want to do better for our neighbor, and he's love. Love. God is love.
Yes.
And so
my daughter's and I's favorite is God is love, and love never fails. So love never fails. So what's failure?
You tell me.
Love never fails. Yeah.
Wow.
So even in class, like oh, I didn't make it through. Well, really? You didn't?
Yeah.
But you never know, like, what it took for somebody to get there.
Mm-hmm.
What did it take them to get, what are they dealing with to even walk through the door?
Right.
What do they got to go home to?
Exactly. Well, and that's why you have to approach every person you come in contact with just a kindness and a love, because you don't know what they're going through.
Yes.
You don't know the trouble or the pain that they're in at the moment. And if they hit you with a car, I mean, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But it's keeping that perspective and that calmness, and that we are all connected. Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
You are awesome.
Well, yeah, and so kind of just we're nearing an end. So getting back to the yoga piece, so what is your advice to people who have never done yoga, who are I want to dabble in it? Should they do vinyasa, and what are the benefits if they do get into it? Okay.
So people ask that every day. Like, I'm a beginner, or I've never done yoga, or I'm not flexible. What do I? Have you ever, people have said to me before, different struggles that I've had, and maybe in different rebuilding phases of my life, and I think of the people that absolutely carried me through the hardest parts of my life. And two of my greatest mentors would always say, keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Yeah, but no, don't overthink it. Just she'd always say, aim one pebble at a time. It's not a boulder. It's not like one pebble. So, and it started making me have this visual in my head of so it doesn't seem like a daunting thing. It's but to start anything, you just gotta start.
Yeah.
So in yoga, I think, the language a lot of times in yoga is let your ego go. That's actually powerful when you really start to understand what that means for you, is all the yeah buts. Yeah, but everyone's gonna be watching me. No one's actually watching you. Yeah, but I can't do that. Okay, but nobody really cares if you can't do something. And especially when it's hot yoga, everyone else is just trying to survive. So they don't really have enough, I'm just trying to survive on my own mat, so to not have to worry about if you're doing things, I'm saying if we're all doing the class together, besides the instructor should be worried,
Yeah.
But what you're trying to do is really figure out how you're handling your own body, and how you're handling the being uncomfortable. That I shouldn't be really concerned about how they're handling their life and being uncomfortable. I really should just try to do the very best that I can and just breathe. So to go back to just, I think, vinyasa is a great place to start, whether you're an athlete. We always say vinyasa is great for athletes, or if you're at a computer all day, if you're more of a beginner, vinyasa is a great class.
And what does vinyasa do? Does it open up your hips?
Yes.
Does it open up? Talk about that a little bit.
So vinyasa stands for flow with breath. So there's a flow that's happening, and there's a breath with each one. So it just teaches you, you're inhaling, you're exhaling. You're doing life, and you're always breathing. So a lot of postures in vinyasa will work on hip openers, heart openers to get your chest open, your shoulders open, good posture like I'm doing now.
Yeah.
No. Getting the hips open, working your lower back strength. But tight hips also can mean low back issues or just discomfort. So really with yoga and vinyasa especially, let's say I can't sit still, okay? Vinyasa is a really good class for those people because you're always moving and always flowing, but you might be holding a posture for a little bit, and then if I can't stretch, I'm gonna give options to drop to my knees. I'm gonna give modifications in the movement. So it's just a great class. People can feel really, really comfortable in the class.
Absolutely. And I would say that for me, that's more of that stress reliever class, that being calm, that coming and just kind of letting go, stretching the body, elongating the muscles. You know, that's really the main goal. Tonight, though, we did sculpt. One, talk about how teaching sculpt matches your personality, and explain to, again, what sculpt is more of.
Okay, so sculpt is combining vinyasa with your weight training workout, okay? And the element that I like is, I wanna get into your mind, because I wanna get into mine too. So I wanna get into like when the rubber hits the road. It's 98 degrees, it's 30 to 40% humidity in this, and you're walking in the room and maybe you're already sweating. Okay, and now all of a sudden I gotta overcome, like, I'm already sweating and we haven't even started the workout yet. Like, so I like house music, I like techno music. The beat since a young girl, has always just moved me. So I wanna get people going, and then I want them to, like, you know, we all just kind of move to, like, bodies are designed to be in motion, you know? So whatever moves people, but, so now we're flowing with the vinyasa flow, and now we got to figure out how to get the dumbbells in position, and we got to figure out how to get in the stance, and we got to figure out how to grind through it. So it goes back to now, and I'll maybe leave it with this, is, like, everything hurts. I can't breathe. And now all the negative thoughts start to come, okay? I'm miserable, it's hot, how do I get out of here? I always give a joke, like, I don't really like the instructor. Like, now all of a sudden, like, her voice starts to bother me, you know? Now all of a sudden, if I let it go too far, all of a sudden, I don't like the way she looks, I don't like the person next to me, you know? But those kind of things can happen in life. Those things that I feel like have sucked me, you know? Like, if I feed that, it's a downward spiral. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out how to escape as fast as I can, and I'm trying to figure out how to control everybody, and now I don't like anything, and I'm just, you know, now if I can draw that back and be like, okay, I can drop to my knees, okay? I can release the weights, I can learn how to breathe, I could sit in child's pose. I could lay in shavasana when the beat's going and everyone else is like doing things. I can learn to be like, I have to surrender my ego. And I have to learn how, like, if I don't lay on my back right now, I'm either gonna puke, I'm not gonna make it, I feel like everyone around me sucks, or, you know, all that stuff, you know what I mean? So that's where it starts to get into, for me, it gets into, like, now I wanna get into their minds. Like, it's not 100% or I'm leaving. It's 100% or 90, 95, 90, okay? What's all in here?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not 100% or I'm leaving. You know?
Well, and it's you against you, like you touched on earlier. It's you against you. And mind you, I felt like throwing up several times a night. Like, it wasn't even so much the muscles. My legs were shot. Anything that I had to, at the lunges at the end, I just couldn't do them. But my muscles were shot, but I thought I was gonna throw up. I was so hot. But it's like, it's that mental strength.
And was it the heat? Was it your thoughts, or like, was it giving you anxiety?
Yeah, it was a little. I mean, it was the heat, and it's like, oh, you're gonna pass out. And so like the mental toughness involved, and like you're saying, it's you against you. So, you know, I could stop, and I could just continue to stop, or I could fight. I could get less weight and try to push through this. And for all you guys out there who have never done yoga sculpt, I encourage you. That is the thing today, is go try yoga sculpt. Specifically with Amy Miller.
And class on me, for real. Like, I think, like, I love welcoming people in. Like, be your buddies.
Yeah,
Will.
yeah. Next time, Ben here
Will-
shooting. Ben's coming next
He's like,
time.
no, actually, I was in class with 20 girls and just me, so I'm good.
I'm hogging the girls
Yeah,
myself.
exactly. You don't need any help.
I'm good on being embarrassed in front of other girls
You
by
did
myself.
so good. Don't.
But
No. You did so good.
It was awesome. So, Amy, where can people follow you, support you? Amy Miller Training is the business, so she's located on Louise.
Yep.
Talk about that.
So yeah, Facebook, social media. If you're not, I always say, if you're not on social media, that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, amymillertraining.com. Yeah, we'd love to. I just always say, like, just come and try it. Just come and try it. And if it's not for you, find what moves you.
Yeah.
Find what like inspires you, because no matter what, athlete, not an athlete. And I would say, you know what? Everybody's an athlete, because everyone was created to move, and it can look different, and it's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, if you like to dance, dance. If you like to run, lift. Yoga doesn't have. It's not the end all, be all. Like, it's a practice.
Yeah.
But so is football. So is everything. Work is a practice.
Yes, it is.
You know.
Yes,
So
it is.
just find what our heart still needs. Movement and exercise, and it's a muscle, so find what inspires you. And I say, when it's all over, when it's all done, okay, what did you really give somebody? Okay, so my gift is I'm just a vessel to inspire people to exercise, okay. I used to be like, oh, but I want to be this, like, I want to be able to be smart at computers, you know. I wouldn't fully embrace maybe my gift or whatever. But there's also, what I would want to share with people is, in the end, no matter what we do for a living or what we're called to, you know, do for a day-to-day job or whatever, what did you really leave people, you know? And I would say, no matter what, especially when it comes to workout, is just encourage people to move. And especially, I think right now is that the message should be, no matter what, like, in all the competition of every gym, everything, I feel like the message should always be the same with all of us. If I'm not giving you what you need, and it's not me anyway, find the community, find the people that are gonna motivate you to show up every day. If it's not every day, three times a week.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Find what you need and surround yourself with people that will show you the value in your physical fitness, you know, your physical health, you know.
Absolutely.
So,
well,
yeah, thank you, Will. You are awesome.
thank you. You heard it
Right.
first. Go check out Amy Miller. Go take one of her classes. I highly recommend it. I will be back sooner than later.
Anytime.
And this is another episode of Willpower. Please subscribe to the channel. We're gonna keep building content. This is just one of the first of many. But I appreciate you watching. You're watching this is humbling for me. So until next time, my friends, peace.